You're welcome.
Yeah, I guess that's an honor.
Yeah,
I guess, yeah.
Coach K of the Bison. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you haven't watched us in the morning, hopefully you guys are subscribing, you're following us on Facebook, you're liking us, you're listening to us on Spotify. And then also, if you haven't done so already, go over to fargogolf.net. Oh, Laura, you're getting the graphic up right there, fargogolf.net, and check out all the 5 public golf courses in the Fargo Park system. So today we're just going to talk golf. We're definitely going to talk about Bison golf, and we're just going to have a nice rainy day in the chalet. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys got cooking today? What's going on, Cookie?
A nice rainy day in the chalet. What's cooking today?
You're on the south side, not the north side.
Should be May. No. You know what? It is a wet morning out.
Yeah.
You know, the schedule looks very, very busy on the tee sheet. We don't have a whole lot going on except for general tee times for the weekend. And it looks like it's hopefully going to be a nice weekend, Saturday and Sunday anyway. Today might be a little wet. But we're just continuing to crank out the rounds. It's just it's been fantastic. We're still kind of like right in the heart of the season, even though school's right around the corner and Bison golf is right around the corner. And so, golf course has been in great shape. It's been fun.
So talk to us about Prairie Wood.
Prairie Wood.
P-Wood. This is the first time we've been at Prairie Wood on location. What do we need to know about Prairie Wood?
You know what? Prairie Wood is a very enjoyable golf course.
Chris Croach has said that this is his favorite golf course in town.
Yeah, I think you know what they've got a lot of really good holes though.
Yeah.
It's very playable, you know, for someone who's not very experienced, yet for an avid player. You really kind of, you hear certain cliches or stereotypes about, certain golf courses, and this is one where they say, oh, it's a great kids course and a great senior course. When I'm out here, you see anybody and everybody. I mean, you'll see players that I would never have expected probably to play Prairie Wood, and I don't know why, but I mean, very skilled players that are avid players might be out here. Maybe they're playing with just a work colleague or maybe a family member or whatever. And of course, we do have a lot of seniors that do play out here, as well as a lot of kids. But it really is kind of a fun course that fits all. It's not too much different as far as from Osgood and kind of the way I describe it there, except for we probably don't have as many hazards and other obstacles as like Osgood. I kind of say Osgood is like Prairie Wood on steroids in some ways. You can really get Osgood pretty difficult. Here it's, it's not real long. It's a blend of it's par 3 every other hole. And then there's 1 par 5 and 3 par 4s. So, but it's a very, very busy golf course. It's the other thing I hear every once in a while. I go, oh, that's a real hidden gem. And I said, well, it's not that hidden because we do a boatload of rounds here. And so we've got Mason Kennedy, who's been with me forever. He's kind of sitting over behind the desk right now. He's been razzing me because we haven't been over to Prairie Wood yet. But as I say, you always save the best for last. So
this isn't
our last show?
No. But this is the 5th facility. We've been every other place as far as our Fargo Park.
You've been meeting with the executives and we're done?
Yeah. We get
just me.
Laura, are we done?
And Dustin Schmidt's been with us for quite some time too. He's currently kind of acting as the, I would say, superintendent as far as on duty, most of the time during the weekdays. And Eric Hansen, of course, oversees both golf courses. But Dustin and his small crew do a wonderful job out here. Conditions are very, very good. And, just like some of your golf courses, we do have a really loyal following from a lot of individuals. And they really kind of see this as like their home and take a lot of pride in it. And so it's been really, really good.
Cool. Yeah, I enjoy this golf course because it's got a nice mix of shot value. You can play some par 5. What is that hole?
4 is a par 5.
Yeah, hole 4, the par 5. That's a really fun hole with that big tree on the right-hand side there. The par 3s are all really good.
Yeah.
So, anytime that, Adia, my oldest, wants to come out and play here, I love it. So, fun spot. Well, what do you got going? What do you got? Let's go roundabout here. What we got going on at the facilities. So get that cooking. What do you got at Edgewood there, Greg?
Edgewood this weekend, open play tomorrow. Sunday we have our men's club 2-man triple event. Play 6-hole scramble, 6 holes alternate shot, 6 holes best ball. It's kind of a fun format. We have an ALS event on Monday, which is pretty fun that we've shared
Yeah.
with Mort Country Club for a long time. Leagues on Tuesday, Thursday, and then we kind of start slowing down event-wise. So it's
Okay.
a good opportunity to kind of mix and play. And we've had a really good weather week up to this morning and last night. Get through today, and we're excited to keep going.
Are you going to be filled up for that triple event?
We have, I think, like 85 or 90 players signed up right now, which is
Okay.
pretty good for us. Yep. It's this is a busy time of year for everybody. We have obviously Coach Kate, so we know school is starting here pretty quick. So everybody's kind of trying to get that reality of, I think some of the schools start next week.
Thursday.
Yep. So I think everybody starts next Thursday. Even like your kids probably start
Yep.
next Thursday.
Yep.
So it's just that time of year.
Yeah, chasing kids right now. Chasing kids at golf already. The girls already have. They got their third meet in already for high school. That's just wild. So yeah, we were over at the Zag yesterday. So that was a lot of fun. Well, at Osgood, we've got open play this weekend, and then on Monday we've got a corporate event, and then we're just leagues, just kind of rolling with our normal schedule. So yeah, excited to just have some fall ball, So leagues are still going crazy out there. So a lot of people have asked, how long do leagues go? And I don't know how long you guys take your leagues. We go through September for our league. So we'll go through the end of September. We do have that construction project kind of looming over at Osgood. Not that I shouldn't say looming, but we're going to be working on that sloughing project where those hillsides have kind of managed to slough into some of the irrigation ponding and stuff. So we need to shore those up, and that'll be at the beginning of October to really start to get involved with that. And that means that we have to kind of amend the golf course. So 4, 5, and 6 come out of the rotation there in the early part of October. Driving range gets a little bit of an impact there too. So there's a little bit of finagling that will have to happen late this fall, but we'll run our leagues all the way through September. So hopefully we'll have a nice, long, warm September. I know. That's crazy that we can talk about September right now. And we talk about the weather changing like this is a new thing, but every year it surprises me that the days are getting a little bit shorter, and the tee sheet starts shrinking, but plenty of time to get your tee time. So hop on fargogolf.net and check out tee times at your favorite Fargo golf facility. All right. Should we roll into special guest? Or do you want to, you look like you got some stuff cooking over there.
No. I was thinking, I think this would be a perfect time to kind of roll into Bison Golf.
Okay.
Steve Kennedy we have as our special guest today. Steve is certainly not a stranger. We had him on this spring.
In the maintenance shack.
In the maintenance shack, yes. We're kind of moving on up. Maintenance and pretty good. Hopefully Steve is certainly no stranger to the area. You've been around coaching for a long, long time.
What's that supposed to mean?
That you look very, very good for as old as you are. You've got quite a resume, honestly. I know you would not be saying that yourself, as you're a very, very modest individual. But truly, with your success you had as far as at Fargo South, I think, was it like 10 or 12 out of 18 years state champions?
11 out of 12.
I was going to say 11 stuck with me.
And then National Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
2008 was that?
Yep.
And then, you've had an opportunity to coach, a lot of players that have all went on to Division I.
A lot of great players,
including one who's trying to play his way into the Tour Championship this week right now, who's doing quite well. So that's really cool, too. You've been with the Bison since 2013.
Yep.
And, as they've made that transition into Division I, it's become quite a program. The last time we talked to you, I think this spring, it was right before Nate was about to head out west to play the national championship. And so maybe we could start in talking a little bit as far as, how that experience went, and then move into, I know your athletes have played a lot of tournaments this summer and have had some great success. Whether I was looking at the Red River Championship, the Moore Country Club this year, looking at the Birchmont, the Pine, those a few of the tournaments I followed. I'm like, man, Bison Golf.
Yeah.
And that's really, really, pretty cool and a testament to the program and yourself. And so, talk a little bit about as far as Nate's experience. And we're going back a little bit, but as far as how that all went, and because that's probably is that the first time an NDSU Bison has
An individual,
an individual,
yeah. That I can since
right.
yeah,
At least in the men's program,
right,
it was
yeah.
the women's, I suppose. Amy did
it in the women's, yes.
Right. So, but yeah, talk a little bit about that experience.
Well, yeah, Nate qualified for the regional tournament. He shot 13 under at our conference tournament, which is a conference record. So he got picked to go to Stockton, California, which is an experience in itself. So we got to Stockton and prepared for the tournament, talked about what we were going to do, his philosophy of the course. Went out the first day and struggled a little bit. I think Nate thought he had to do a little bit more than he really needed to. You walk down the range and you see all the bags with Alabama, Washington, all the big schools, and you think, God, I got to really play well. And he went out, and I think he was 8 over through the first 9 holes, and then kind of steadied the ship. And then the next 2 days shot even par, so did really well after that.
What a great experience.
Yeah, it was.
That'd have been kind of a cool experience for you, and something that Nate can kind of bring back and talk about with all his teammates and stuff like that too.
I think the most fun I had was being able to follow him for the whole round. When we're at tournaments, I see maybe a fifth or maybe 5% of the action, and so you don't really get a chance to see how they attack the golf course. Excuse me. Except talking to him after the tournament, but walking with him and seeing him, the way he approached the game out there, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. How are like a lot of players, and how are you as far as, during your tournaments? How active do you get? How much coaching is truly done out there? I mean, is there things going like on as far as, and I don't even know all the rules and regulations as far as college golf, and what can you do as far as, are you giving, players, certain information as far as what you're seeing from others and stuff like that? What's kind of your role out there during tournaments?
Yeah, you could do pretty much anything except
Okay.
hit the shots.
Okay.
And they don't want me to hit the shots, so they don't ask me that. I kind of have the philosophy with my players. If they want my help, I have them ask me.
Right.
So if I'm up by a green and hey, coach, can you put some eyes on this with me? I'll go and help read a putt. Otherwise, I just stay out of the way. They play all summer long. They play really well.
Right.
I've seen too many coaches go out and micromanage, and the guys get nervous, or maybe not nervous, but they start doubting themselves.
Yeah.
And it just, when you're talking about speed on a green or you're talking about those things, it's totally different for you than it is for me.
Right.
And so it's, I'm pretty much hands off during the tournament unless they need me. There are a lot of times when I see someone struggling that I'll go and walk with them and just kind of get their mind off of it for a while.
Right.
That's more of my role there. We also sit on par threes and tell them what other people hit on those holes and stuff like that. They like that. Other than that, we just let them play.
All right. Well, that's a good point. Yeah, I tell you, golf's kind of a weird game. I mean, how much time do you actually spend like over the golf ball?
Mm-hmm.
And it could be like you could be out there grinding 5.5 hours. So it's a lot of time for you to be thinking about other stuff, positive and negative.
That's
so
right.
It's probably nice to have someone just to kind of chat about something else rather than how lousy or how good your round may be going at the time.
Yeah,
so.
we try to talk about other things.
Tell a little bit about the summer. I mean, some of the success that's been
yeah.
going on. We just came off the Pine. You had a Bison golfer there that played the championship match.
Yeah,
You had a matchup too between the two.
I tell you, every tournament we were
semis,
at, every tournament we were at this summer at the Birchmont, the Resorters, and at the Pine, we just kept beating each other up. We kept getting in the wrong brackets and playing each other. Nate DeZiel played Nate Adams in 2 of the tournaments. Nate DeZiel and Ian Simonage played each other in the semifinals at the Pine.
At least they're playing each other down the stretch rather than they're in the first round, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But no, we've had a lot of success this summer. At the Red River tournament, we had guys in contention the last day. Didn't quite play as well as we wanted to.
Right.
In the Minnesota State Am and the State Open, we were up in the top 5 with a couple of guys every tournament. The Resorters, Josh Gelvin won that. The Birchmont, Gavin Cronkite was right there in the semis. And then again, in the Pine, we had guys in the semis.
So you got guys, is what you're saying. You got guys. The team's doing very well in this offseason. what do you think has been so successful in your recruiting practices? How do you go about that? Because you're maybe not even slowly but surely, pretty rapidly, I'd say you guys have you guys have asserted kind of a dominance here in this area in collecting a really nice group of players. So what is your key to success there in the recruiting process?
I think the first thing that happened was I got Andrew Israelson to sign here, and he was the big signee of my career, I think. And when he came, everybody knew the name, and everybody followed the Israelson family. And and when Izzy'd go to tournaments, they'd see that he was a Bison. And Izzy, if you know him, he talks nonstop. And so, my recruiting has kind of changed over the years. I listen to my players a lot now. They play in so many summer tournaments, and they come back to me and they go, "Hey, coach, you need to look at this kid." And so that's kind of how I get my guys.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I've had a couple of them in the past week and a half reach out to me and say, "Hey, coach, I had to come in and talk to you. I saw this kid play. He played with me at 3 Sorters. We need to look at him." And so then I reach out to those kids, and we go from there.
It's like a family approach.
It is,
right?
And and they play. I mean, when you play with someone, you know more about them than me going and watching
Sure.
hit, play 9 holes. It's just, how did they approach the game? What was their demeanor?
Yeah, those guys are in the huddle the whole time. They're seeing the entire process up close and personal.
Yeah,
I love it. That's really neat. That's really cool. Talk to us about just because this is a good buddy of mine, Ian Simonage. Let's talk about how that kid has come on.
Yeah.
From freshman year.
I know it's when he was a freshman, he was not on our radar at all. And then Eric Tollefson, the Moorhead coach, he's a physics teacher at Moorhead. I was a physics teacher at Fargo South.
Okay.
We were both golf coaches. We had the same. Actually, when I met Eric, we had the same tennis shoes. We had the same watch. We did the same things in our classrooms. It was just amazing. So we kind of hit it off, and that was another nice thing. When I was coaching high school and went to NDSU, all the high school coaches here, I knew them, and so they would contact me and say, "Hey, you need to look at this kid." And Ian, I believe, was his sophomore year. He just exploded, and Eric called me and said, "Hey, you need to maybe take a look at this kid." And so I went over and started watching him, and he has just steadily climbed up. I mean, he is just such a solid player now and such a great kid.
Yeah. Good kid and a competitor.
Oh, he hates to lose. Yeah. I know it.
He's got that that switch, right? Where it's like he knows how to just bounce back, or he knows how to just turn it on. And so many of your players I know have that, but to see that, I mean, that's that it factor. That's the thing that you need to be playing at the next level, where you can just flip it. So.
And we have 9 guys right now that I don't know who's going to be on our team. I have no idea. With Jake Scarproot coming in, he had a great pine. He was in the consolation, but won the consolation championship there, which is still hard to do. We just have 9 guys that can play.
Yeah.
And they just keep feeding off of each other, and they tell me how much better they get by just playing with each other every day. Because in high school they were the star probably on their team, and they really didn't have that much competition to play. And then they get here, and it's like, God, am I going to make this tournament? How am I going to stay in the lineup here? And they just keep pushing each other.
So how do they do that, Steve?
Yeah.
We talked that school starts Thursday.
Ours starts Monday.
Yeah. And then so school starts Monday. North Dakota Open next weekend, I believe. Is that a qualifier,
That's a qualifier
for you?
for us,
So all the kids play in the North Dakota Open. So the first, and when is your first event?
We go to the Upper Peninsula Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, so not very long.
It's not. No, we'll play the North Dakota Open, and then we're going to qualify 2 more days.
Okay.
So we'll have 5 rounds.
5 rounds.
And then we'll go to the Upper Peninsula for a tournament, which is going to be a great tournament for us. It's going to be against Illinois. Illinois will be there. Michigan will be there. Kentucky, Miami of Ohio, Bowling Green. We're going to get some big schools at that. So it's going to be fun to see where we stack up with them.
So how many players will you take to that event?
I'm going to take 5 will play on the team, and then I do get an individual.
Good. That's good, right?
Yeah, it is.
Kind of gets you more golf in a short period of time.
And then we get home on Monday night, and then Tuesday we're out at Oxbow, and we're going to be playing against St. Thomas and UND for 2 days. And then we have a day off, and then we go to Kansas State.
All right.
For a tournament, and there'll be five players going to Kansas State.
Life of a Division I athlete.
Yeah.
In any sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just football.
Right.
But golf and soccer and all those other sports. The women's team as well.
Yep. A lot of travel.
They're going to get going. A lot of travel.
Yep.
Lots of PC time.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Education has changed. They can do a lot of stuff online now, which really helps.
Good.
You're coming off a year now where you just lost this one individual.
Right.
And so all you had to do is fill the one spot. You keep that team pretty tight. And you didn't do too bad there either. Who do you got coming on in this year?
Yeah, Jake Scarperud from Shanley's coming in this year.
And Jake's had a great last couple of years as well, as far as both high school and his off-season workout. Is Jake can probably be able to kind of also compete, I would imagine, right with your team right now?
Oh, yeah. Will he be able to compete with him? Yeah, I think so. I mean, when I see Jake, and we've watched him from the Resorters all the way down Birchmont, I should say, in the Pine, and he's right there. The other thing about Jake is he fits in with our squad very nicely. I have a lot of my athletes will ask me, "Why'd you recruit me?" And I think it was teaching for 30 years. I think I figured out how to read kids and, kind of the ones I wanted to be around. And that's a big part. It's a gut feeling for me.
Right.
And Jake, when I talked to Jake and his family, it was a no-brainer. This guy's going to fit in here. So,
you look at your roster, and I would imagine as you go through your conference and you look as far as a lot of Division I schools right now, what's the furthest kid you have? Like Twin Cities area?
Yeah.
Chaska, Stillwater, maybe somewhere in that area?
Stillwater is the furthest, yeah.
Yeah. And so, you've been able to maintain really just regional kids, which is fantastic, like I said, to be as competitive as you guys have been. Even last year, as far as in your conference tournament, didn't you guys finish, was it like a shot out of second or something like that?
He just keeps rubbing it in, doesn't he? Yeah, we lost by one shot to them. Yeah.
And so that's pretty incredible because, I would imagine as NDSU probably about the shortest season you're going to have as far as anybody in your conference.
Yeah. I've lost recruits to South Dakota,
right? Because
they tell me they can play for 2 months more.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
And and honestly, Fargo, as much as we were born and raised here and lived here, and we really appreciate what we have here. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, if you're not kind of used to this climate, whatever, it's a hard deal. And I would think that'd be the same thing for a kid to be here. Mm-hmm. It's kind of coming into Fargo, North Dakota. It's like, we're not huge. We think we're pretty big now, and we think we've got pretty much everything you need. But for a lot of people that come to Fargo, the climate and, kind of a smaller area may be a turnoff for some. So it's not like an easy recruit. And so it's been amazing you've been able to keep not only just, regional kids, but there's a lot of rosters that you see that, they're international, mm-hmm. And you haven't had to do that to compete. And so you're really kind of getting the best of, which is surprising. Like, how do you do that? Getting them from like U of M and some of these other programs.
And that's part of it. A lot of them have chips on their shoulders because they, the U of M talked to them for a little bit and then kind of dropped them. And then they'll come in and they'll go to NDSU and I'm going to show them. I'm going to show those guys what I can do. And, and they do. It's been so much fun to see these guys come in here and just develop the way they have. And our strength and conditioning coaches are a big part of that too.
Right.
They do a fantastic job getting these guys to be able to, instead of hit the ball 290, hit it 320. It's so much fun to see the development from when they were a freshman to even the end of their sophomore year. They look like athletes rather than skinny little kids coming up here. They kind of look like me after a while. Yeah.
So you've got like your trainers and they're all working out in the off season, getting better. You being a physics teacher, I mean, how much time do they do in the classroom with you to make sure they're optimizing angles and everything like that? You know, it's like, I would certainly think that would be a major plus.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. Yeah. Actually, I do have a couple of students that are in physics that come to me for help once in a while. But yeah,
That's good.
That's great. You know, question as far as like, you know, maybe some of the individuals might be watching or might watch later. You know, may have some kids that are, you know, be like junior high, high school age already themselves, and may thinking, man, you know, my kid's really passionate about golf. I think that might be something that they may like to do as far as in the future. What would be kind of your advice there as far as like, you know, what do I do to try to get noticed besides just become friends with some of the NDSU golfers?
that's right.
And but I mean, to kind of get you on the map, whether you're playing Division 1 or Division 3.
Yeah, I still think you have to play the summer tournaments, and you have to be, you know, you have to stretch yourself or push yourself. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna do. If I want to play Division 1 golf, I can't just do the local club tournaments. I need to get out and I need to play at the Minnesota State Am, the State Open, try to qualify for those. Those are big tournaments for me
Right.
to watch. Wisconsin State Am, State Opens. You know, the bigger the tournament, a lot more pressure, a lot of really good players kind of see where they stack up.
I know that you said you've kind of changed your recruiting a little bit, and a lot of times you are able to lean a little bit on your players. And like we just talked about, a lot of them are coming regional, which is nice. Do you get too caught up, like as far as in rankings and things like that, or where kids kind of sit nationally and stuff like that, or isn't that something you pay attention a whole lot to?
I pay attention to it a little bit, but it doesn't determine whether or not I recruit you.
Right.
You know, the rankings. I've seen a lot of Arizona players that are ranked very, very high, and their game doesn't travel very well.
Is that right?
That I've seen.
Right.
You know, they play in such crappy weather down there all the time, and you know, if they get up into the Midwest and start playing in the cold and the wind and the rain, and it just doesn't go very well.
It was 70 degrees and blowing 5 miles an hour. How was I supposed to play in these conditions?
Yeah. And you know, and they don't know how to put their clubs away for 2 months.
Sure.
And then get them out again and start over basically, like our guys do.
I know, like even like in our SOTA series, in the Minnesota section, we started to do like with the Players Tour 2-day events, and I like those 2-day, 3-day events are really huge, and having those opportunities. You know, we don't have like a lot of like AJGA stuff up in our area, so unless a person's willing to kind of travel or something like that. But like you said, a lot of like your state, local, you know, championships, and then of course the USGA stuff as well are going to be really kind of popular. So. And it sounds like also you said it. I mean, obviously score is going to be very, very important. I mean, you need to be able to kind of golf your golf ball, but there's more to it than just that as well. So,
yeah, I mean, as a teacher, you know, academics is a big part. I mean, I don't want to have kids come in that struggle that when we're on the road, they're worried about missing class. You know, our GPA last semester was 3.83.
Whoa.
You know, and so the last 3 years, we've been up over a 3.75 every semester. So it's, you know, we've got guys that can not only play the game, but they do well in the classroom.
That's really good. Yeah. Wow.
So, question: you got incoming class. This year you only have one, right? But you have a golfer that maybe has like raw ability, or maybe is not, you know, quite polished yet. He's not a Division 1 golfer just quite yet. Talk to us about the process. Like when you bring somebody in, how are you developing these kids? What is your way of doing it? How do you get these kids going from, you know, point A to all the way to the senior year? What is your process there?
You know, most of our guys, Chris, right now are pretty polished. I mean, it's, you know, when we're talking our roster size, you know, I like 7 guys. I have 9 right now. 9 is too many. When you have 7 good players that are really good, you can keep most of them happy.
Yeah.
But you get to 9, and all of a sudden you're sitting there going, you know, these guys they're firing 71 or their average is 71, and they're not traveling, and they're going, you know, why don't I get a shot? Well, you didn't qualify, and in the spring of the year it's really hard because you can't go out and qualify. So it's Coach Murphy and myself sitting there going, okay, you know, should we stick with this same lineup? Should we try to put someone else in here? So most of my guys, to answer your question, I guess, are very polished when they come in. And I think that our process, at practice, we work usually if we're just practicing, which we have a very short time, a window to practice. If we're not qualifying or playing, I think we have like maybe 15 practices a year where we're not. I mean, outside in the fall where we're not doing something. We We'll get there. They'll work on their individual game for about 45 minutes, and then we try to do some team building where we're getting some competition at a practice.
Okay.
And they develop more by playing with each other, though. I think at that level,
it's just kind of feeding off each other, competing with each other,
and just talking to each other all the time. These guys, they talk golf all the time, and I mean they live together. I mean, most of them live together, and so they're always picking each other's brain.
We need to take the podcast to the house. We
Yeah.
need to take the show on the road, see what's
Yeah.
going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, let's not do that. But sometime you should do the podcast up in our short game area.
We'd love to.
Yeah, that'd be
Is
great.
that an invite? Is that an
Yeah,
official
that
invite?
is an invite, yes.
Okay.
Yep. And they spend a lot of time up there, and they're working on the simulator together, and they're trying to get their numbers. We have a whiteboard up there, and they've got all their swing speeds, and they've got all their launch. I mean, it's amazing. So,
Laura, we got to do that. We got to get that hooked up.
Let's do that.
You've got another practice facility or indoor facility for the entire athletic program that's being built. I haven't been up in a little while now. How is that all coming as far as the construction? Is that something that is going to be available this winter?
Yes,
Okay.
it should be completed. I think it's October 15th.
And basically, it's just a huge indoor.
It's going to be for every sport. We'll walk in. The way I understand it, we'll walk in, we'll push a button, and the nets will come down on the sides and on the back wall. And then there's a net that goes out to the 50-yard line. So we'll be able to hit shots, I'd say probably 80 yards into this.
And how high is it?
75 feet.
Wow. Okay.
About the same height as the bubble.
Okay.
And so we won't have any trouble. I mean, you could hit some wedges up there, but I mean, we don't need to do that.
And do you spend a lot of time as far as in there as well, or do you spend more time in the simulator? Or is it kind of a combination?
We
of both?
spend about in the wintertime, we spend about an hour to hour and 15, hour and a half in the bubble a day. When we start in January and we don't play a lot until we get into the middle of February, the days get kind of long, and so we try to have a lot of competitions. We develop a lot of games for them. We have something called Bison Points, where they're competing for those, and you think that they were like gold bricks because they argue. I hit that target. I mean, so I finally have to I'm the rule. I'm the judge.
I'm love it.
So
that's awesome.
How do they get to redeem these points?
No, we have a plaque, and whoever has the most Bison points for the year gets their name on the plaque.
That's so good.
It's all about competing.
It is.
It is, and these guys love to compete.
So a little bit about the fall schedule then. So do you have anything new you're going to this year?
We do, yeah. We're going to go to the Upper Peninsula, play in that first tournament. We are also, let me think here. From there we go to Kansas, or we have the Oxbow event. Then we go to Kansas State. Then we go to Drake. And then we're going to Denver. We're playing the TPC Colorado in Denver. Or actually it's outside of Denver, about 50 miles. And then we're going to the Outer Banks Kitty Hawk again.
Okay.
In the spring we have we're gonna go to Chambers Bay this year.
Wow. Cool.
We're gonna go to Pittsburgh. Miami of Ohio has an event we're gonna go to. We're gonna be in Daytona Beach, Phoenix. Next year, Bandon Dunes.
Wow. When's that?
That is in March.
I'm trying to keep, So
I know I'll be in March.
It's
that's when.
That's next
What's your
year.
room?
2023.
Our guys, since we've been recognized, I've been getting emails from coaches saying, "Hey, you've seen your results. We'd like to invite you to this tournament."
So it's definitely picked up.
It
there
has, yeah.
That's really cool, and that's got to be, really awesome for you to be able
It feels good. It does feel good to be able to, it's fun to go to when you go to a tournament to think, we can win.
Right.
that's what we wanted to get to at NDSU, and we feel that way every time we go to any tournament now. We feel like we have a shot at winning this.
But wouldn't that alone also be a real tool in your toolbox as far as your recruiting to be able to have those tournaments to go to? I mean, it's one thing to say we're going to. I'm not trying to put everything down. We're going to South Dakota, or we're going down to Twin Cities, or we're going to Duluth. No, we're going here. You're going to see Alabama. You're going to see Michigan. You're going to see. It's like, wow,
going everywhere.
Exactly.
I was trying to. I mean, you're like in every single time zone.
Yeah, we are.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, that's seriously. So, hey, and how closely were you watching Chambers? Because that's been on.
I know, but we played Chambers Bay the year the U.S. Open was there.
Okay.
And it's if I remember right, it's 1,000-foot elevation change from hole 8 down to 15, and so I remember Bill Carlson. He had someone in his group had some device that measured steps back then. I don't know what it wasn't, an Apple Watch or anything, but
we actually all have those devices.
Yeah, well, but back then it wasn't these cell phones. So Greg, back me up here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So I think it was 25 miles they walked that day.
Whoa.
And and Bill didn't hit it straight, but he would be the first one to tell you that day. But it's a fun course. It's a fun course.
25 miles.
I think it was. That number sticks in my head.
A mile short of a marathon.
It was.
Whoa.
It was a lot up and down. And there's a lot of walks between tee boxes and to carry your bag that long. I mean, that's the hard part.
So, and then I mean that alone, I mean, that justifies the fact that these kids got to be athletes, right? When they're playing this much, and I don't care who you are, traveling absolutely takes a toll on you. So if you're not conditioned in that regard, I mean, the amount of stress and strain these kids. I know we're golfing, right? We're golfing. It's so tough.
To the mat cooked
I know. But you got to be an athlete in order to be able to maintain that type of pace and that schedule.
Well, and a lot of people don't understand that we tee off, or we're at the golf course at 6:30 in the morning, and we don't get back to the hotel until about 8:30 at night on those 36 whole days. And people will say, "Well, what'd you do when you were there?" Well, I saw the hotel, I saw the golf course, and I saw the airport. That's it, because we have no time. But these guys that to stay focused for that amount of time, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you've still got a young team. I think Nate's back for his senior season. I think he's your only senior. Is that correct?
We have Nate Adams and Brock Winter are both. With this COVID year, it's right. They're all seniors, but they've told me they're all coming back again next year.
Okay.
So right now, and we're planning on just losing Nate DeSeal this year.
That's terrific. I mean, wow. Hopefully this fall will be a good one, and into the spring, and then once again get them all back. And
I know it makes my job a lot easier when they're all coming back.
That's great. No, I don't know. You got anything else, Chris?
I don't. I just want to say thanks. Thanks for being our first repeat guest.
Hey, that is nice.
Right?
Yeah,
the encore.
And if you guys come up to the short game area, then.
We've already scheduled it. Yeah, Laura's already got it on the calendar.
Good. Sounds like a competition.
I know.
We'll have some of our guys up there, maybe.
Yes. See, he comes with guests.
I'll play a 3-man scramble like in that putting or chipping.
There you go.
Against 3 of my guys. Yeah, that'll be good.
Well, no, they play individual.
They play worst ball.
There you go. That'd be good. That would be good.
Yeah.
I think that's still not a chance.
We have an 18-hole putting course up there, and I think the record right now is 10 under.
Wow.
So, so there's a little challenge thrown out to you guys.
Oh, boy.
I love it. Well, hey, hopefully did we have any comments, questions, concerns on the column? Nothing. I'm sure there's going to be flooded with questions afterwards, right? So, okay. But for those of you that are watching and subscribing, thank you. And then also, if you haven't done so already, like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and then also listen to us on Spotify. Hopefully you enjoy the content, and hopefully you're playing a lot of golf. Head on over to fargogolf.net and check out what's happening. Get a tee time. There's still tons of time to play golf. So that being said, guys, Thanks for joining us on this dreary morning. It's just awesome hanging out with all you guys talking golf. So, that being said, this is Muni Misfits in the morning, and we will catch you next week, 7 o'clock, and play a lot of golf. See you next week.